Hey guys, Joe, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast here, joined this afternoon by Nick, a professional handicapper. Nick, how's the morning treating you?
Hey, Joe, pretty good. Pretty nice weather here in Pennsylvania, so no complaints here.
Oh, I love it. Now, before we get started here, I want to hear how you got started in this business.
Yeah, so the quarantine kind of pushed me forward with this business. So I've been a handicapper for as long as I can remember. My father, was a handicapper, and as specifically in horse racing, and I started handicapping horse racing, and then as I got older in college and after college, I dabbled into the baseball, football, and basketball. Um, and the quarantine hit, and I think a lot of people have done this, but I got on a couple sites here. I started doing well, documented sites, and everything's verified. My track record speaks for itself, and I've been professional now since 2020.
I love it, Nick. Lots of people making the leap from just doing it as more of a side project to a full-time project over the COVID era there. So great to hear for you. I know you have a podcast. You're doing a lot. Where can people find you? Where can they find your show? And where can they find your picks?
Yeah, so Executing the Edge is the podcast, and you can find everything on my website, which is sportspickhub.com. And you can find my YouTube channel, my picks. I give out free picks, subscriptions. It's an affiliate to winningcappers.net, so you can find everything on sportspickhub.com. I also am doing articles for the oddsbreakers.com as well, so you can find out some information on there as well. So just really enjoying what I'm doing here, and it helps to win it. So it helps to win these games too early in the season.
Absolutely. Well, the baseball season is underway. We've had some great games so far this season. Early still in the season as we go. I've said season so much. I was looking for a different word there. But we have a great matchup today between the Milwaukee Brewers and the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
We have a total of 7.5 in this one, with the Padres being the favorite at home. You have any thoughts on this game?
I do. I do want to bring this up too because we talk about sports a lot. And I just wanted to say prayers to those families in Texas with with the elementary school shooting. I can't imagine. I have three kids myself, one in elementary school, and I just can't imagine what those families are going through. It's just horrible. So I just wanted to say that. But I want to
Yeah,
get into the
amen.
the Brewers and the Padres here. So we have Aaron Ashby's a lefty. He's actually the nephew of, if you remember, Andy Ashby.
Is
Um,
he? I
he
did not
is,
know that. Okay.
yeah. So he's pitched. He's pitched in relief 14 innings and two thirds. And as a starter, he has three starts, pitched 13 and two thirds of an inning there. So he owns a 4.71 ERA on the road this season, but that is a little high due to his 3.12 FIP. And he also has a BABIP, which is 0.327, which kind of suggests that he's due for some positive regression here in this start. I don't expect him to last too long. I'm guessing maybe 3 or 4 innings. Um, and that's not an issue with this Milwaukee bullpen that has been very solid throughout the year.
Mhm.
Yu Darvish is going for the Padres, and he's just been lights out at home.
Yeah.
He has a 1.37 ERA at home versus on the road he's 5.81. So I expect that to come down a little bit going forward. But teams are only hitting 145 at Petco Park off of him, and he's not walking many, which is helping his ERA and FIP. He owns a 0.66 WHIP on the year at home, and in 19 and two-third innings in May, he only has one walk. So he's not getting base runners on, and that's really helping him out.
Absolutely.
Like I said, the bullpens are solid. Milwaukee's pen specifically is in the upper third of the major leagues in K per nine, home run per nine, and FIP in the past 30 days. So been very solid, and the offense for the Brewers has been very good in the past 30 days. But they've cooled off a bit now. So I like to look at this in the recent games. In the past 3 games here, they're in the bottom half of the league in runs per game. So, and Padres offense hasn't really been hitting on all cylinders yet this season. They have the potential, but they haven't been putting it all together, I guess. A couple guys are hot at times and some aren't, but I like the under here, 7.5 here, Joe.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to go. Even if the Padres do hit nicely off of Ashby here, I can see it definitely staying under 10-3 to the under in the last 13 meetings and 5-0 in the last 5 meetings in San Diego to that under. So I think it's definitely a strong way to take this game.
Yeah, one thing to keep an eye on, though, the Padres do hit lefties well. So that could be one, to play devil's advocate on my play here. They do hit lefties well, but there's enough to position the under here at 7.5. And I think it's gone down in some spots to 7. So the market's favoring us. We got some CLV there. So you always like to see that.
Now, quick question for you. With you saying that San Diego does hit lefties nicely, would you look ever at taking the Milwaukee Brewers team total under? If you're looking at under for the full game, is that kind of a strategy that you are using in your handicapping and your betting?
Probably not in this game, just because Darvish is pitching so well, and their bullpen is solid as well. I would probably. You said to the under,
yeah,
not the over.
For the Brewers.
Yeah, that I apologize. Yeah, that would be a route to go. I like that, Joe.
Yeah, something that I really dive into in hockey is looking at those team totals over and under. And I love to get perspective in baseball because I've dabbled a little bit in those team totals, but haven't fully bet them a lot. So getting your opinion really does count here.
Sure. No, that's a good option there. Definitely.
Okay, so we've got 13 games on the board today. Which other games were you looking at in the MLB?
Yeah, so I like Philly and Atlanta as well. We have Ranger Suarez, the lefty for Philly, going. He's better on the road. He has a 2.50 ERA versus he's over 5 at home. He has a 1.17 WHIP and a 3.65 xFIP on the road. So he's pitching well on the road right now. Charlie Morton, Uncle Charlie, is lights out at home, just like you, Darvish. It's very similar. They're right-handed pitchers, 2.89 ERA, 161 batting average at home this season for him, and he's not walking many. He has a 2.59 FIP, which keeps the ERA honest. They're very similar. So I definitely like this pitching matchup. Both pens are excellent in limiting home runs and striking out the opposition. So Philly, the only problem with the Philly bullpen is they do walk a lot of guys, and but both are top 10 in FIP. So they're pitching well in the past 30 days. And they have excellent lineups. Both teams have excellent lineups. Very cold right now, though. Very cold lineups.
Yeah, cold bats as of late.
Yeah, I played the under 8.5 in this one, Joe.
And you know what? Good thing this total has climbed up to 9, so you can get it under 9 now.
Yes, so, I saw that. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Interesting to see if Philadelphia can come in here and pull off the upset. We're getting plus 145 with them. They have not played well, though, in Atlanta. So that's one thing to be concerned about. With the minus 165 here, Nick, what is the maximum you're taking in baseball for juice in these bets?
Right now, Joe, it's 130. As we get later in the season, it's going to be 150. But as more information's available, it's easier, in my opinion, to find value later in the season. I'm more of an analytical guy with baseball. There's so many stats that you can dig into, and the more info that we get later in the season, the better. So kind of in the beginning of the season, you try to tread water a little bit and stay 500 or hopefully better. And later in the season is typically when you start seeing, or when I start seeing, the increase in wins and streaks. So that's what I do, Joe. Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Now we have another interesting matchup between the Oakland A's and Seattle. We have a total fallen to 7 in this one, with the A's coming in as the road dog at +155, -175 for Seattle here.
Yeah, so Joe, this is a big under day for me. It doesn't happen like this every day, but I took the under in this one as well for the first 5 innings. So the reason for that is we got a solid pitching matchup. Paul Blackburn is a righty. He's been very good this season. Even better on the road with a 1.37 ERA, 0.95 WHIP, and a 1.91 FIP on the road. So very good this season. Lefty Robbie Ray was the Cy Young winner last season. Not pitching like that this season. But he's better at home. He has been better at home this season. 3.70 ERA versus his 5.64 ERA at home. In my opinion, he's due for positive regression. You saw last season he pitched lights out. He's going to a new team here. He needs time to settle in, and he's due for positive regression, proven by his FIP at home, which is 2.84. So I expect him to have a solid outing here. Also helps that he's going to be going against the Oakland Athletics, who have been struggling all season long and lately. And, Seattle hasn't been very good at home. Hasn't been very good all season. Honestly, they've been very inconsistent. And Oakland's pen has been decent, but Seattle's been one of the worst in the past month. So we're going to leave them out of this, and we're just going to take the first 5 under 3.5. It's low. It's a low total, but it's low for a reason.
Yeah, most definitely is. We can't see a lot of runs coming in this game at all. I find when we're looking at totals of 6.5 and 7, the majority of them are staying under that total, even though it's a scary bet. I think it's a strong way to go. And the under in the first 5, I absolutely love. So
yeah, they're under for a reason. I mean, you find the overs, in double digits. They're also over. They're also that high for a reason. So
absolutely. Now, we had some major overs yesterday with some huge blowout games. The Toronto Blue Jays coming out, getting that blowout win 8-1. Are you seeing, now that the weather is heating up, these balls starting to fly a little bit more?
Yeah, and that's typical, right? With the hotter weather, you got to keep an eye on the wind direction. That's huge in handicapping. None of these games really have much wind, but you definitely want to keep an eye on the temperature. If it's 90 degrees and the wind's blowing out 20 miles an hour, that's a huge advantage towards the over, and vice versa. I mean, it was snowing in Colorado last week. And so
Crazy.
you want to keep an eye on the temperature and wind for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us here today on the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. Can you remind everyone where to find you and where to get your picks?
Absolutely, Joe. Thanks again for having me on. I appreciate it. You can find all of my information at sportspickhub.com. Again, you can find, I would recommend people to check out Sports Wagering University. It's sportswageringu.com. We're helping as many people as we can, educating them on sports betting, since it's becoming so big in every single state. And so check that out. Also, you can find my picks on winningcappers.net, Vegas Top Dogs, and sportscapping.com. And I'm also writing articles, like I mentioned, at the oddsbreakers.com. So thanks again for having me on, Joe. I appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure having you back on, Nick. We will have you on in the future. Looking forward to the next appearance. Have a wonderful day and all the best in all of your bets, everyone. Thank you, Nick.
You too. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.